Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hopefully, everyone's doing great. Inshallah, on this again amazing month that we have. Let me share my screen with you guys here real quick. Alhamdulillah, guys, on many different levels, we've been able to kind of set this up and get ourselves to the ultimate understanding within this month is an opportunity for us. So I'm grateful for being able to share these nights with you as short as they are, because time starts and time disappears really quick. This month comes and it just goes really quick. So I'm grateful, first of all, to be able to do that with you guys, and thank you for your time and much appreciated trust. So overall, guys, what we've been going through is about really self-development and taking yourself to the next stage and really understanding yourself as a whole first, then kind of propelling yourself and moving forward. Yesterday, I told you we talked about in terms of understanding performance and how to get yourself to that aspect. Tonight is the second part of that series, is understanding motivation. Yesterday, we saw that when we move towards Allah Azza wa Jal, how we're within our fitrah, Allah has a stamp of His logo on our heart, because He's created us. We are His product, and He put a logo. He put His logo, and He stamped that in your heart. And that stamp was hubbul jamal, hubbul kamal, wa hubbul khair. All these things we love to do goodness towards others. We really appreciate beauty. If you look at someone who's let's say gotten some wealth, they buy a house on the lakefront. So why do we appreciate these things so much? We love beautiful things. Someone who's good looking, we generally as human beings give them a value. Now, beauty, they say skin deep. I'm not going there, but and so we also talked about how we need to work on the inside, that we need plastic surgery sometimes on the inside, not the outside. So you got to beautify yourself. Let's say you are good looking from the outside. You want to beautify the inside of you as well, in terms of when that displays itself on your face, you stay good looking. You don't turn something very ugly, because when the inside takes out the outside, it's something else in terms of that reality. But that being said, we love these things. We love to perfect ourselves. We love to do goodness for others, do good to others. And then we love in terms of the beauty and everything else in terms of these kinds of things. It's really amazing. And these are stamps in terms of part of your fitrah that Allah has put inside of you. They're part of your natural programming. And we talked about that yesterday. So if you missed that one, go back and watch that one. But tonight, like I promised you guys, we're going to continue with that. But I'm going to give you another book, something to kind of give you a little bit more momentum. And if you can read these books on a daily level, some of us can read a book a night, by all means do that. But tonight, what I'm going to go through is I'm going to show you these three powers at the end of the day in terms of why you need these three components: knowledge, discipline, and security. And I'm going to connect it back to the other presentations that we had. The first night we talked about discipline, knowledge. The third night, or I think the fourth night, we talked about security and how to achieve that. Or I'm sorry, that was the fifth night. But from there, go back in these lectures and you'll be able to see there's a series and why I'm connecting these things together. So ultimately, what I'm going to also show you is this word right here, is achievement. Are you a high achiever or a low achiever? And I'm going to take you through that. I'm going to show you there's a scale. And it has 6 categories going down, and it's going to tell you, are you someone who's a high achiever? Do you have these kind of characteristics? Or do you have these characteristics? And it's going to show you who you are. And I think for you, if you really want to understand where you sit as a person, please take this into consideration in terms of taking yourself to the next level. So guys, what I want to do tonight also is, let me just make this a little bit bigger. So, all right. So you can see me a little bit better. So now, tonight, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take you through that, and I'm going to take you to another level in terms of hopefully understanding motivation and what? Achievement. Like I promised you tonight. Okay, here's another great book. If you want to educate yourself, take yourself to the next level. This is by Stephen Hawking's The Grand Design. If you are in philosophy, if you like these kinds of things, if you like really studying theology, psychology, these kinds of things, it's something, a great book for you to read. I would advise that you read with someone and kind of go back and forth, have have it be a part of a book club if you can, because this book is, you want to be very careful when you get into theology and aqaid, which is creed. You want to be careful with these kinds of things. You want to make sure you have some kind of a teacher that's leading you in terms of that way, because your aqaid at the end of the day are on you. No marja, nobody's that's when you stand in front of Allah. Your creed, meaning your belief structure about Allah, Allah's justice, nubuwa, imama, and mi'ad, these things you're going to have to face. You're going to have to do these things on your own. So especially with tawheed, please be careful when reading some of this material. Okay, so guys, let's move forward in terms of what we're going to go through today. And I really want you to kind of take this to another level in terms of what you're doing. Okay, and let's go through, and what is motivation. Before I get into that, I want to give you a little bit of understanding. Here, I just want you to step back just for a little bit. And I'm going to share a little bit about myself to kind of give you guys what I've been through. Guys, every one of us has a talent inside. It's a talent. And I remember when I was searching and I was trying to find out what that talent was. And for me, that was a big deal, because where do you search? You have to search on the inside. It's not on the outside. Your inclinations, your talents, everything it's what you're genetically encoded for is on the inside. And you have to go towards that. Don't try to find out who you are from the outside. That's just a testing ground to the inside. Go on the inside and see. Now, here's what I would tell you, and I tell a lot of my clients this. There's something so special inside of you that only you possess. Your mind is like a universe on the inside. And that universe has one pinhole, which is a talent. It's a small little island in the vast universe. You have to find it. You have to. Allah's made that place in your mind special for you. It's like a pinhole. But once you find it and you dump all your talent, you dump all your knowledge, all your wisdom, all your sincerity, everything that you have into that talent, into that pinhole, you become, like we said before, you become what? More refined in certain ways, but at the end of the day, you become more rare. That's what happens. When you become rare, you become more expensive, because that talent is very rare. It's only inside of you. There's one talent that exists that only you possess, that you can do better than anyone. You have to find that. It's something that's amazing, okay? Allah Azza wa Jal in the Quran, He says, we've given Adam, the creation of Adam, we've given them this lofty position. Why? Because every one of us has a talent that can handle a certain amount of responsibility. You have to find where you fit in the human puzzle. And once you do that, you allow others to fit onto you properly. You can guide others. But you have to fit onto where you belong, and you have to find that. That sense of belonging is everything, guys. It's huge in terms of your understanding. Now, from here, once you go towards that, and you go to the internal part of you, and you go towards discovery on the inside of who you are, and you keep refining yourself. One day you'll come out, and the people will see you. And they were like, man, how did you do that? They don't realize that you would have been working on the inside. Remember, we said that 90% of an iceberg is beneath the water. Nobody sees it. So you have to work on that inside, and you have to find out what that talent is. So when you do that and you go towards that talent, don't be afraid to put a financial stamp onto that, because a lot of the people who will advise you, they'll use money as a timestamp. They'll use money as a stamp to tell you, no, it's not going to make any money. So I want to give you a little bit about me. And as I was going through this journey, I was trying to find my way. I was trying to find that island for myself. And I was struggling with that, because when you're blind, it's very difficult to go through day by day by day by day, and you don't know where to go. So I had a choice. Do I go into psychology or do I go into marketing? I was already in marketing, and I was seeking advice by the people who I know. But again, the people you know sometimes are not the best people to ask in terms of their expertise. Maybe they don't have the expertise within the field you're going into. So you got to be very careful. But there's a lot of trust between you and them. I tell you, whenever you're asking for advice, seek these three things. Number one, have the person have more knowledge than you. Number two, they have more wisdom than you. And number three, they have the experience that you're about to go through. If you can do that, it's incredible how many steps you will skip. You don't have to go through the pain, guys. You don't have to go through the pain to experience something. You can just go through someone else's pain and you don't even feel it, because they've already went through that. That's what mentorship is. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, Rasulullah allamuni alfa bab. He's taught me 1,000 doors, and within each door, there's alfa bab, and there's 1,000 doors within each door. Why? It's guidance. It's mentorship. It's built in within our system. Imam Ali was built to take over that successorship from Rasulullah. So mentorship is huge, and seek those people who are wise, knowledgeable, and experienced. So now, as I was moving, I had to make a choice between this and this. And it's so difficult at those times. And I'm going to be frankly, just frank and completely transparent with you. And I was asking so many different people. For me, I was leaning towards psychology. And again, I wasn't a speaker back then. I wasn't doing any of this stuff. I didn't know anything pretty much where I wanted to end up. And you guys know the stigma by psychology. It's, you're not going to make any money. That's the financial step. Okay. And I'm not telling you not to think of these things, but I'm not telling you also to make them everything. That's the problem. You have to have balance. If you truly have a talent in something and you move away from it, who put that talent there? Allah Azza wa Jal. He put it there, but you are not following. But He created you that way. So find out what you truly have on the inside, and don't be afraid because of money. Don't. Know who you are. And once you discover that, those experiences, when you touch them and taste them, they're going to be euphoric for you. So I'm sitting there and I'm trying to make a decision. And I was in between a lot of people. And I'm asking them questions. And it dawned on me. I said, Ya Allah, please guide me. I don't know what to do. And I looked down and I had a hadith book in my hand, just like this one. The Scales of Wisdom, I showed you that one. If you haven't gotten that book, I advise you highly to get it. But I opened up the book and I asked Allah, please just show me something. And the first hadith, it was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it says, when you are about to take on goals in this life and set goals in this life, make sure they're connected to the hereafter. At that second, guys, I made a decision in my heart. I said, I don't care who tells me what. I don't want any more advice. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I'm not telling you this is the way you should make decisions. You have to be in the right state emotionally, and you have to be there in terms of these kinds of things. But I'm not telling you that's not the way you make decisions either in terms of what you're doing. Okay, I'm gonna leave that up to you. That depends on your own convictions, okay? But on that level, when I saw that, I went inside and I said to myself, which of these two, I'm going to be able to help out as many people as I can with these two? And for me, psychology was clear. And I made the decision right then and there. I said, this is where I'm going. And I went, signed up, and my GPA went through the roof. Why? Because I'm in my talent. I'm in the things that I really, really enjoy. And I'm not worried about the finances. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just, I'm thriving. emotionally. I'm there. Then I started discovering so many different things about myself. And the main reason I took psychology was not just because of financial stamp. I took psychology because I wanted to know who I am. It was for me first. I wanted to dump that into myself. Who is Wissam? I wanted to discover that. And when I did that, it's just incredible. You go to the inside and you go towards self-discovery. And you realize once you enter that realm, it's a universe and it's scary. How do I navigate this thing? Where do I start? Where are my talents? How do I search? What's the way to search? Imagine bringing a caveman right now and teaching them the internet. They're like, what? See, that's how we feel. I'm just giving you an explanation. How do I navigate my own self? So on that level, guys, that's where you need to go. That's the place and the space you got to occupy. It's inside of you. And Allah has already built in so many things you just have to discover. And once you discover those things, through those things, you will find Allah Azza wa Jal. The journey is to the inside to go upstairs. It's not to the outside and impress people. You'll just grab onto the world. That's the way it works. So let's move on motivation in terms of that's something that happened to me. And I just wanted, then from there, just the motivation aspect, we just went through the roof. Guys, I wake up every day. I can't wait to wake up. I'm being honest with you. I can't wait to work on the things. I love what I do. If I can live 1,000 years, I would, just to see where my potential can go. I would love to do it, but you have to be ready to exit tomorrow as well. So you have to make sure you prioritize every single moment. I drain every second of the day. I do it. You know why? Because I'm going to lose that. That last 5 minutes is gone. We can't bring that back, guys. You can't. It's gone. Try. You won't be able to. You can only control the next 5 minutes and to see what you're going to do. And you might not even be given that time. So time is so precious when you understand that. And now, when I did that, and I said, I fell in love with my potential. I fell in love with my motivations. I fell in love with reading. I fell in love with learning. I fell in love with these kinds of things. I was like, wow, I don't need anyone to make me feel happy. Because I'm moving towards my potential and I'm comparing myself now to my future self and the person I want to build, that becomes energy. That won't stop. That energy is endless because motivation to that extent is just amazing. So now I just want to take you to the next level. And so one more concept before I start. Find your why. Your why is this. It's something that's worth more than your life. It's a cause. Think of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. His cause, his family didn't equal that cause. His own soul didn't equal that cause. Everything to him was that cause. He was underneath one flag, and it doesn't matter the cost. I'm underneath that flag. If you were to rip that flag away from Imam Hussein alayhi salam wouldn't be Imam Hussein. That's the truth. That's reality. So from there, find your why. Why are you doing what you're doing beyond making money? If you're a company, why do you exist beyond making money? If you're an individual, why do you exist beyond making money? Why? What's that cause? What's that human element that makes you you? That's how you should be thinking. Now, let's go towards motivation, guys, and see how that's going to work. All right. So there are, right away off the top, okay, anytime when we think of motivation, anytime you ask why you are doing something, you are asking about motivation. So anything that you do is on that level. Anytime you ask a person, why did you do that? What's your motive? We say that. What's your motive? It's like, even you go into court, person they're trying to see motive. And there's a placement between first-degree murder and second-degree murder. First-degree murder is this person intended it. How many times do we commit crimes against people's intention? يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم. We go into assumptions about other people's intentions. Then we jump from assumptions to conclusions, and we commit murder against that person. and not just second-degree murder. We commit first-degree murder. That's incredible when you really think about that. Don't judge people's intentions and just be so certain. I'm not telling you not to be wise and see people's motives and try to see and have a hierarchy, but be very careful when you make a judgment through an assumption and realize that you have missing information. You got to be very careful with that. So now, anytime you do that, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about motivation. That's what you're anytime you move, that's what you're talking. Two factors, okay, of motivation. Really think about this, because the next time you start thinking of what your motives are, this is what you're going to be able to see. Number one is direction. Motives, in terms of what they cause, is direction. So when someone really wants something so bad, so there's a beautiful episode on YouTube, and it's called the show's called I Shouldn't Be Alive, and this person stayed alive for 76 days floating on top of the ocean. I'm not going to spoil it for you. If you want to watch it, look at that episode. And it's just, I think it's called Lost at Sea. And he survived for 76 days across the ocean. It's incredible, the human will. That's motivation. That's someone who's, I'm not going to give up. And watch how many things he goes through. One after the other. He gets hope, then he gets rejected. And then he's just all the way in the point of despair where he's about to give up. Then he gets hope again. Then he goes back to this. It's incredible in terms of the human will. That's motivation. But he wanted to survive. That was his goal. He had direction. I'm going to make it. You have to be like that in life. You have to. It's incredible when you're like that and you're driven. Nothing, no challenge, when it steps to you, you're gonna break. You're gonna say, I'm gonna beat this no matter what. That's mentality. Okay. Number two, intensity of one's effort. This is what I was talking. Direction and the intensity that you come with. When someone is highly motivated and they want whatever that goal is in terms of direction, and they're saying, I'm gonna survive. Imam Hussein, when he says, you know what? No matter what, we're gonna pray right now. Direction. That intensity. Why? That intensity in the middle of battle, Imam Hussein stops. Imagine what kind of intensity you got to have for that principle of prayer to be able to do that, to maintain that goal and that direction to Allah Azza wa Jal. When that happens, you have motivation. And when that motivation hits the heart, he submits, because now the challenge is what? Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Now you're being tested. Do you truly have the principle of establishing prayer? وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ. There's 4 conditions to actually someone who establishes prayer. There's a difference between people, everybody prays, but someone who establishes prayer has 4 things. And I have conversations on that. Go into that if you want to find it. But maybe I'll do maybe a series on that, small little series at the end of the month, inshallah. Now, from here, that's how you stand in terms of that effort. Let's move forward. When we come upon a situation, we either watch this, guys, okay? We approach. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam in the middle of battle, he has a choice. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, it goes off. And he has to make a decision. His principle is being challenged by what? The pressure of the situation and the conditions he's in. Are you going to uphold prayer no matter what the conditions are? Imam Hussein alayhi salam does it beautifully, and he shows us true motivation to Allah Azza wa Jal. Nothing can remove me from my principle. I'm steadfast. I'm incredible in terms of the way I set myself as a person, and I'm not moving away from my principle. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he approaches the right thing. That is incredible. A lot of us would be scared in that moment. And then we would what? Some of us are neutral. We will freeze. And we will not do anything. And some of us will run away. This is the fight or flight system, by the way. Okay? But the challenge is going to do that to you. You're either going to freeze, fight, and move forward in terms of being aggressive, or be passive and move backward. All these, that's how your motivation works. So anytime you're making a decision, you're in between all these 3 right here. Now, the person who approaches the right things, like Imam Hussein alayhi salam does, okay, they gain good decisions. The person, they make good decisions and they create amazing outcomes. And the person who avoids the wrong things, that's another decision. It's inaction, but it's still an action. I hold myself back. Okay? Where Imam Hassan alayhi salam, he held back. Imam Hussein stepped forward. Amazing combination with an amazing aspect of long-term cause. Their cause is everything. It doesn't matter. I'm going to step back. My brother's going to step forward. Okay? That is to maintain the cause. Avoid certain things, but for the right reasons. Go forward towards certain things, and also for the right reasons. That is wisdom. That's the epitome of decision making, is wisdom. Let's move forward. Okay. Now, with this, leaders, I want you to, the reason I'm speaking so much about Imam Hussein alayhi salam is because of this aspect. Leaders affect motivation. Okay, so with this, how does that happen? Okay, do the behaviors of leaders impact group motivation? I want you to understand this, and please, a lot of us are in high-level situations, doctors, lawyers, whatever. You do impact. Mimicry is such a huge thing in terms of how you even teach empathy is through mimicry. And you can't teach empathy by saying, follow somebody who's empathetic. We talked about that a few nights ago. Follow that lecture if you haven't. It's about emotional intelligence. We talked about that. Now, do they impact it? Absolutely. Imagine Imam Hussein alayhi salam when he stood up in the middle of the battle and he said to his companions, he said to them, with you as, he tells them, he says, leave by the cover of the night, by the camel of the night, which is no one's going to see you. Leave, go. Abbas was also challenged, and he by Shimr, he came up to him, he said, go, you're free. He gave him a letter. Abbas ripped it up. Why? That's leadership. He's telling them, they want me. They don't want you. You can go. And you're free. You're okay. Leadership. Incredible in terms of leadership. Now, if he didn't have these principles embedded inside of him, they would never follow him. And then they say to him, he says, if we were killed and risen, then killed again and risen again 1,000 times, we would never leave you. Just imagine that statement. Imagine that. That's the ultimate test, where my cause is bigger than what? Than my life. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, his companions are like no other. Imam Ali's companions, they're like, oh, who took these companions to that level? It's that leadership of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So they can elevate themselves to face that kind of challenge. And death, they can stare right in the middle of its eyes and they will not waver. And there's nothing to fear. And read the story of Imam Hussein. Don't just listen to it in Ashura. Read the people who were there. Read the leadership aspects of it. It's incredible. It will blow your mind in terms of these kinds of things. The story is not just a story. It's a university. And go through it. Read the people. Read about Habib. Read about when he left and how he just left everything, dropped everything. How do you do that? What kind of character do you have to have? This is why we do character development. This is why you have to have mentors and people who take you to these lands. Connect to the Imam. He's here. Connect to him. See how you can do that. Find the people who are like that. These are amazing nights. Take advantage of them. Imam Hussein was all about leadership. All right. So from there, studies show, watch this, that one of the most powerful ways leaders are considered leaders is by how they affect others' motivation. I'm willing to die for my cause. And guess what? Are you willing to die for your cause? That is incredible. Imam Hussein is not just what? A person of one time. Imam Hussein alayhi salam is still motivating hearts. He's still embedded in millions and millions of people in terms of their hearts. He lives, his principles live in people's hearts and they will never die because he's too established. He's too rooted in the truth about life. And when someone seeks the truth, they will find Imam Hussein alayhi salam at the end of it. Guaranteed. I guarantee you that one. I guarantee it. If you want to find the truth, you will find Imam Hussein alayhi salam. There's no other if, ands, or buts about it. That's the truth. Now, that's how he motivates. That's leadership. so many years, hundreds of years down the line, his wave is still growing. It doesn't stop. How do you do something like that? When we die, 2, 3, 5, 10 years, our memory is erased. How do you stay and you sign the signature of your name and you imprint it on history? That is incredible. That's leadership. Now, let's move forward. Actions impact more than words. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, I don't have to tell you anything. He's all action, okay? Because the language of behavior is trusted more. This is psychology now. It's more trusted. The language of behavior is more trusted than a verbal language by the recipient. People judge your actions, not what you say. And if those things contradict, they're going to follow your actions. They're not going to listen to what you're saying. That's how it works. Some people's bark is louder than their bite. That means their action is not it's not congruent with their what? Words. And they'll say a great game, but they can't follow through. That's how it works. All right, guys, please follow along. And here, if you want to take some notes, please understand, I'm going to give you a spectrum about you, okay, and how you work. All right. So watch this, guys. Let's go through this real quick. And I'm going to give you the difference between high achievers and low achievers. So high achievers are in terms of motivation orientation, meaning the way they are as people and how highly they are motivated in terms of where they're going. Okay, high achievers are high motivation for success and a low motivation to achieve what? Failure. Watch how it flips on the other side. If you are a low achiever, we go towards reducing motivation for success with a high motivation of avoiding what? Failure. What did we say yesterday? People who outperform others, what do? People who outperform others, they literally are high motivators. They are problem solvers. They avoid, they do mental rehearsal. They avoid risks and they avoid comfort, which is right here, and they take risks. But here it's telling you, someone who wants to stay in their comfort zone, that's the person who's trying to go here. That's a low achiever. They're all more about what? Avoiding failure and not moving towards success. That's the difference between a high achiever and low achiever. Second thing, okay, task choices. Now organization, watch this. This is huge, guys. Seek out challenges and able competitors and tasks. So they're not looking to someone they can beat right away. They want competition because they want to grow. They are playing with people who are better than them. Okay, but they seek out challenges. Think about that. Some of us, we avoid that. We don't want the challenge. We're too scared. They seek out challenges. Challenges are opportunities. That's why they know that the only way they can grow is through a challenge. You can't grow any other way. Go sit in the corner and see what happens, and just sit there and not do anything and become a nihilist. Go ahead, watch what happens in life. Seek the challenge because these challenges are numbered. It means you're only going to get so many of them in life. And if you don't take advantage of them, it's up to you. Now watch this. Avoid challenges. That's the first thing. Seek out very difficult or very difficult or very easy tasks and competitors. Watch this. Very difficult. Why? So they avoid challenges, meaning they stay in their comfort zone. This person is with what? Always in their discomfort zone. They're always growing. They're seeking new challenges. And hopefully this person's got mentorship. That's key. Now from here, they avoid challenges and they seek out very difficult tasks. You know why? Because they know they're going to fail. And if it's very difficult, I can just rationalize to myself, oh, you know what? Nobody can achieve that anyway. It's very difficult. Or very easy because they know they can succeed. Because they're afraid, again, see this? That failure part, they don't want to fail. They're afraid to fail. That's what happens. Okay, attributions. What do you attribute your success to? Watch this. Ascribe success to a stable and internal factor within one's own control. Okay, ascribe failure to an unstable and what? External factor outside one's control. I'm not telling you to lie to yourself here either, but these people are very honest with themselves. Okay, that listen, I have capability. Remember the first night we talked, or the second night we talked about confidence, the science of self-confidence. I want you to go to that one. That one is huge in terms of understanding yourself. Okay. And there's actually courses on the website that complete that whole process. If you are a person who's truly trying to get themselves to another level, I have these things all over. They're literally just visit the site, see what's there, put some time into yourself and develop yourself to another level. Guys, I have people from all over the world, and I'm so grateful, and I want to thank you for the trust. That means the world to me. And it just, I truly believe in my product because I've seen it succeed on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. I'm not trying to give you anything or sell you anything. Please, it's just you have to believe in something. You have to. It just see it in terms of that, but not even the product. Go after the books. Go after self-development. Go somewhere. Find a mentor. Do something where it gets you to the next level. Forget what I'm doing. It doesn't matter. Just find someone, find something and go there and develop yourself. Now, these people here, what do? These people, it's the opposite. They attribute they attribute success to an unstable and external factor. So that means they don't believe in their own ability. We said self-confident people here, okay, they believe in their own ability. Self-efficacy is belief in your own ability that I can do something, okay? Self-confidence is kind of get to my goal. These people here, they don't do that. They don't believe in their ability. That's the attribution. When they succeed, what do they attribute to? This person feels like a fraud when they gain success because it's not me. Really, it's not me that I did that. I didn't do that. That's not my capability. That's their emotional code. There's a lot more underneath that. I don't want to go into that. There's a lot of more subconscious wiring that has wired this person this way. But if you're like that, okay, you need to really unravel yourself and put yourself on an operating table and see how you can get yourself to the next level. Let's move on to the next one, guys. Okay, so now watch this in terms of goal setting. Okay, seek specific task goals. Low achiever, seek general outcome goals. Pay attention to this one. I'm going to do an episode on process, performance, and outcome goals, okay? Which I already did some part of it, and I may elaborate it even more. But I want to tell you about the difference between specific task goals and seek general outcome goals, okay? General outcomes, why do I set general outcomes? Is because a goal is not a point of success. It's also a point of failure. But when I set general goals, there's no mark to really distinguish where that goal is. So I don't know if I really succeeded or I failed. Why? Because again, my emotional code is not right. And from here, this person sets very specific goals. Why? Because they want to know exactly where that failure point is and where that success point is. That's how they think and that's how they work. There's a difference between thinkers here, between a low achiever and a high achiever. Now, perceived competence and control has high perceived competence and believes that achievement is within our control. Okay, so they believe in their own control and ability. This person has high levels of what? Confidence. We talked about the second night in terms of the science of self-confidence. Confidence is about, can I reach my goal? This person has they believe in their own competence, which is their own ability, and they believe they have control to get to where they're trying to get to. This person is the opposite. Okay, when you judge, and this person, by the way, they'll have sensitivity to what? Anytime you talk about intellectual things, they'll feel insecure because their competence is on the line. So if you are this person, really understand that there's science to this, okay? Performance. Excel in what? Elevation. They excel in teams of evolutionary or evaluation conditions. What that means is what? When they're being evaluated by others, they excel. They're excited. They want that feedback. Please give me feedback. Feedback is the most important thing on the face of this earth. When you are getting constant feedback from people around you, you will grow so much faster. So when you are looking for feedback, they're always looking to say, what did I do wrong? How did I do this? They're always looking for feedback. So why? Because they want to tweak their process so they can get themselves to the next position. Okay, poor performance in evaluation conditions. This is a person who's what? Up here, when they're being evaluated by life or by another person or whatever it is, they what? They perform badly because their anxiety is high. And it's like they're about to take a test and they know all the material, but they fail. Why? Because they don't believe in themselves. They have the evaluation in terms of performance, the way they've evaluated themselves. This is the person who doesn't believe. Or they may be 10 points ahead, but something sinks into their heart. They're like, I'm going to lose anyway. That confidence is what? Can I reach my goal and win? This is about confidence here. So confidence is about, can I reach my goal? See how it connects between low achievers and high achievers. That's how it works, guys. So please think of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in terms of high achievement and low achievement. Look at what he gained. In terms of, look at his motivation in terms of direction and goal and the intensity that no matter what the conditions are, I'm gonna face that challenge and I'm gonna beat it. And my principles are gonna live on through time. They will echo time. That's incredible. That's motivation and that's achievement. That's where you need to get to. All right, guys. So 3 concepts. I want to end with this, okay, that I want you to take away with you. These are, again, certain principles that you want to just set at the end. 3 concepts that will make you, or that will push you to become a high achiever. First thing, okay, when you do that, is about all gaining knowledge. Imam Ali alayhi salam, a person walked to Imam Ali and he says to him, he says, oh wise one, he says to him, if I had 1 hour to live, 1 hour to live, and I knew that, he says, what should I do with that hour? The person is asking a beautiful question. Why? Because he's giving it an importance hierarchy for us in terms of to understand from. Imam Ali alayhi salam answers him and he says, if you have 1 hour, seek knowledge. Knowledge is like food for your mind. Just like you need food for your body to maintain it, nourish it, keep it energized and motivated and keep it moving, and to take right healthy information, healthy food keeps your body working at tip-top shape. And you're a top athlete. Why? Because you're not putting poison into your system. You're not eating all the bad foods. Guess what, guys? There's also good knowledge and bad knowledge. And just like you have good food and bad food, there's also good knowledge and bad knowledge. And good knowledge is amazing. It revives your system and it takes you to another level. And bad knowledge is like poison to your system. It will literally destroy your soul at the end of the day. And who you take that knowledge from is also very important. So gain knowledge to become someone who's very, very special in terms of achievement. All right. Number 2. So let me take it a little bit further. They consistently renew themselves. Guys, always be shedding skin. Always, as a person, be shedding skin. Always. What that means is always be in development. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, Man tasawa yawmah fahuwa maghboon. He says, whoever's day is the same as the next, he's been fooled by life. Always be renewing yourself. Always be a person who's growing. Okay, I achieved this, I'm going to get to the next level. I achieved this, I'm constantly perfecting, working hard on myself. That's huge, okay? Now, the charity of knowledge is to teach it to one who is worthy of it. And like with this, guys, it's amazing to me. It's amazing. And it's about exerting the self in actions upon it. This is a hadith by Imam Ali alayhi salam. He says the charity of knowledge is to teach it to someone else who's worthy of it. Worthy of it. That's incredible. So you got to pick the right person who you even want to teach. You got to be very careful with their moral code, who they are, how they conduct themselves. They're worthy of that knowledge. Knowledge is very precious. And when it's infused in the right mind, it's incredible what happens. And exerting the self and acting upon it. It's not one thing to what? Gain the knowledge and download this. It comes from the book and you download it into your mind. And once that happens, now it's yours. But you have to force the self to follow it when it's challenged. When you are challenged, you force the self to follow that information. Let's say it's the Quran and all you speak is the Quran. When the Quran is challenged from the outside world, you step up and you say what you need to say. You force the self to move upon it. Now, Number 2 is discipline. We talked about, I have a whole presentation on discipline the first night. If that please, if you have the time, go back and follow that one. That we talked about, I'll give you something very simple. We talked about if you want freedom of choice, which Allah has given us, okay? If you want more freedom to choose anything you want, when someone hands you freedom to choose, they're handing you responsibility. Responsibility requires discipline. Discipline is doing the boring stuff before the fun stuff, to such a point where you discipline yourself enough where the boring stuff becomes pleasurable and you get addicted to responsibility. I didn't talk about that. There's a whole nother level to it, but I'm not going to go there right now because I'm just giving you an example. Go back to that presentation, and it's very important. It's a very important presentation if you want to truly know what is the truth to self-esteem. It's all about self-love, which is when you discipline yourself. Self-discipline is self-love. Literally, it's just like you don't want your friend to eat that piece of cake because they have diabetes. You won't eat that piece of cake because you love who you are, and you want to, just like you tell a friend no, you tell yourself no, because that cake is not good for you. That's how it works. So self-discipline is self-love. Now from here, in terms of this, doing whatever you have to do, whether you feel like it or not. That's what discipline is. If I feel like waking up for salah, or I don't feel like waking up, guess what? I'm going to do it. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, discipline is al-amali bil-kasali wal-nashat, to actually move and be motivated regardless if I'm lazy or what, I have energy. I have to force the self. Then he says the best deed is the one you have to force yourself to do. Discipline, discipline, discipline. From here, guys, the difference between good and great literally is this concept right here. Bottom line. Number 3, security. And I had a whole presentation about building character and how to gain security within the heart and how that works. So go down to that presentation about building character and how to achieve that, and you'll be able to see this, okay, in terms of security, in how when you drop the fear, when you drop the outcome, you drop the fear. When you drop the fear, you become more secure in the heart. So security and fear can't exist at the same time. You either have one or the other. Which one do you have in your heart? The one who has tawakkul on Allah and does taslim, and had after they're facing a situation, they do tawakkul on Allah and they do taslim as well, they have security. They drop the outcome. And when they drop the outcome, when they're facing that challenge, becomes easier on them now because you're stable. And then their security turns into sincerity. And then it makes their heart truthful. Why? Because they're no longer afraid of outcomes. And then if you can present the truth through wisdom, which is on your tongue, you're a beast in terms of a human being, in terms of what you can do. It's incredible. Now, security. I'm going to be okay no matter what. Bottom line. Security is when you are in the hands of Allah. And we said the other day, taslim is handing your responsibility and handing the outcomes and building your faith to such a point that I know I can just control the moment now, but the outcomes are in Allah's hand. And no matter what, I'm going to be okay at the end of the day. That drops the fear. That is mental and emotional health. That's the way it works. And guys, things are always bigger in your head than in reality. There's a concept that is called catastrophic thinking. Catastrophic thinking is when we are facing things that we feel are what? So big. And catastrophic thinking comes in, we start thinking of the worst things in the world. Think of an overprotective mother and how she is. And it's incredible what they start thinking of. All catastrophe, catastrophe, catastrophe. You're going to be okay. Life's going to be great. And I wish you the best of times in these nights. And please, please, at the end of the day, look through these lectures. Find yourself through some of these things. This is all about development. Tomorrow, what we're going to do, guys, is this. We're going to go into flow and the intensity of optimal performance. How do you get to that level? There's going to be 8 factors I'm going to be talking about in terms of how now, let's say you step to the edge of your personality and you're about to jump and you checked your parachute. You have enough fear to be precautious, and you checked your parachute, you went through it 3-4 times, and now you're about to jump. And from there, your hope is telling you this is going to be a fun ride. Go ahead, jump. Your fear is telling you, this is the voice in your head. Don't jump. I'm scared. What if I get hurt? It's telling you, it's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You need to take on life. You need to take on risks. I'm not telling you to jump without being calculated. Take calculated risks. And if you do decide to jump and enjoy life and take that ride, we're going to talk about flow and how to get into flow and walking into the corridor of darkness and relying on your capability, no matter what happens to you, relying on you as a person, and I can flow no matter what. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. And until then, please keep us in your dua, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.